One congressman is now working to end this by introducing amendments to an appropriations bill that funds the government, defunding Special Counsel Jack Smith, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, and Fulton County DA Fani Willis's prosecutions of the former president. One amendment would prevent taxpayer dollars from funding federal prosecutions. The second would stop funding for state prosecutions. And Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde joins me now to explain how this would work. Sir, good to have you on. Tell us the plan here, and does it have a shot?
Well, thank you for having me on this evening. And yes, I think the plan does have a shot. We have not taken the Justice Department's appropriation bill up in committee yet. I am on that committee, so I have the right to introduce an amendment to that committee. And I think when we do, this amendment that I will introduce will defund any federal prosecution of a presidential candidate prior to the November 24 election. Also, a second amendment that I'm going to be adding to that is to defund any state or local prosecution, any federal money from going to that office if they decide to prosecute a presidential candidate prior to the 2024 election. And if we can do this, then I think it'll work.
Yeah. You know, it's obvious that something needs to happen. It's very clear what's happening in this country right now. I think it's very, very dangerous. And I would say that no matter which, political party it was happening to, this is not the way the system's supposed to work. When somebody has this much support, you shouldn't be trying to imprison them in this moment a year before an election. Biden last November pledged his administration would do everything that it can to prevent Trump from running. Remember this.
We just have to demonstrate that he will not take power by, if he does run, making sure he, under legitimate efforts of our Constitution, does not become the next president again.
It's amazing to me that they did such an effective job of indoctrinating this country into thinking that this man is some kind of fascist Nazi, that he can get up there and actually say that. As the president of the United States, he can say that about his, at that point, it was assumed opponent in 2024, even in 2022. That's amazing to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Joe Biden's statement says everything that you need to know right there. He intends to use the power of the federal government, the power of the Justice Department, and the money that they have in their budget to go after his political opponent, to literally throw his political opponent in prison, charged with criminal conduct. That's Banana Republic type of
it's terrifying
policy of
And then I just want to show you this from the New York Times. In a statement, you had this Andrew Bates, a White House spokesman, said that that the president believes that Merrick Garland had decisively restored the independence of the Justice Department. That's an article from a year ago, that they restored independence to the DOJ. I mean, I don't think there's been a bigger connection between a president and a DOJ than we've seen under Biden. I think they are completely intertwined, and they both together are going after a political opponent so that they can ensure themselves 4 more years of power.
I think President Biden has made the Department of Justice the election interference arm of the Democrat Party.
Exactly.
And I think you're seeing that clearly throughout this. And even if there's no conviction whatsoever, the process becomes the penalty for President Trump here. Just like you showed that amazing timeline that showed how it's going to take him away from the campaign trail. I mean, Joe Biden is trying everything he possibly can to prevent President Trump from becoming our next president, and doing it not fairly, but using the power of the federal government. And that's nefarious. That's wrong. We have to defund it. We must defund it. We must use the tools, the power of Congress, the power of the purse to go after their funding and prevent them from doing this. And I'm committed to do that.
Do you see that there's evidence? It certainly there's a lot of allegations that the DOJ has been coordinating with Fani Willis, coordinating with the New York prosecutor Bragg. That this is all aligned so perfectly that they must have all been talking to each other. They found, obviously, they're getting it from these people that perfectly align with their agenda, these DAs that are doing their dirty work in Fulton County and in New York.
Oh, I think it's very clear that they are working together to do this, and they all have one goal, and that is to prevent President Trump from being on the ballot wherever they can, and to prevent him from being elected as president. And it's nefarious. It's what our country does not stand for. We have to stand up against this, and we have to defund it. We have to stop this in order to have election integrity in this country. We've got to stop this.
Congressman Clyde, good to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to be with you.